Mayor, yeah, it's all about, okay, what is he gonna say now? I like it, dude.
I'll let you know.
I like it. I don't open my office door in Channel 3. It's like there's like, I forget that one time. Frank,
It's recording. Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry.
I don't mean to miss. Can't take him out of the ranch.
Okay, good morning, everyone. If we could please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Good morning, Ed. Any person may appear before the court at this time that would like to speak to the court? For the court? Public comment portion? Anybody? Do you have anybody on? Good morning. Commissioners, any comments, anything at this time? Okay, agenda item number 4, discuss, consider, and take action on minutes from previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 5, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize a request for proposals for brush cleaning services for a portion of the 28.73 acre tract acquired through GLO grant 1839600B105.
So this morning I received an email from Rachel Thomas with GrantWorks, and she wants us to hold off on this, so I'm going to table the item.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Agenda item is tabled. Agenda item number 6, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize notice of renewal of lease of property located at 116 South Eugenia, St. Orange Grove Street, St. Orange Grove, Texas.
Judge, I'm gonna stand over here because this one and the next one are, this one is fairly simple. The Orange Grove Nutrition Center, which is administered through the local community action
Right.
Organization, is moving to a new building that they have made a direct agreement with the owners of that building. We have assisted for many years by paying the rent of the location that they're currently at. That lease is with the Schmidt family. It expires on May 31st. There is a 30-day notice of non-renewal clause in it, which means we have to get them a letter by March 1st, telling them that we're not going to extend. They're in the process of moving out. Surely they'll be out by May 31st. They may even be out sooner. I've spoken to Jimmy, and he says that if we're out before May 31st, we can sign a mutual release and save money on the April and May rent that we would otherwise have to pay. So at this point, we're asking the court to authorize the letter to go out so we can put them on notice that we're not renewing past May 31st. And then if they are out sooner, then we can get together and, like I said, maybe sign a release that would save us April and May's rent. Okay.
I make a motion.
One second.
I have a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Mr. Guerra, we have another item here. Let me see. Agenda item number 7, discussion regarding compliance requirements and costs associated with implementation of Senate Bill 6, the Damon Allen Act.
Okay, and we have a little, Robert, can you pull up that PDF? So Wednesday, we had a very well-attended meeting with all the magistrates here in the county to go over this. This becomes effective April 1st of this year. And this PowerPoint kind of illustrates what the requirements are going to be. They're imposed on the county. The state is going to help us with the software. We will have to provide the hardware, and we have to provide the personnel. It's an unfunded mandate. So once again, we've got directives from the state telling us what we need to do, but no money to implement it. So can you go down maybe one more? No, one more down. One more. So the reason this passed, there's been discussions of bail reform probably the last 3 or 4 sessions, but this past session, it really picked up steam because originally the bail reform was to help identify low-level offenders so that they wouldn't languish in jail simply because they didn't have money for bail. When Trooper Allen was murdered in 2017, it took on another aspect, which is the other end of the spectrum, which is the violent offenders. In this case, there was a violent offender that was released on a $15,000 bond. Within 72 hours, during a traffic stop, he killed Trooper Damon Allen. So with that, there was also support from law enforcement. If we're going to let out low-level offenders, then we need to figure out ways to keep a better eye on the violent offenders. So Senate Bill 6 passed, and so now you can keep going down. Just keep going. There's going to be a bunch. Go. Again, you're going to. There you go. They've created what's required, a public safety report system. And so what's going to happen now is that before a judge can go and set bail, you must run a public safety report on each offender. The software for running that report is going to be provided by the state. Either the desktop or laptop computer to run it is going to have to be provided by the county, and the personnel will have to be provided by the county. There is a provision that the sheriff's department may be the one to run it, but we cannot obligate them to run it. They can do it if they want. If they don't, they don't have to. So in discussions with the judges and the adult probation department, Mr. Ramirez is here, our thought was that a pretrial service officer from the probation department could get to the jail early, run these reports. That way, when the judges get there, they have all the information that they need to review before setting bail. So what does that mean as a practical matter for you? Well, we did not budget for that position, okay? And so we need, if we're gonna hire somebody to do this, we're gonna need to budget for it from April through December. And of course, in August and September, when we adopt next year's budget, we can make provision for it then. So that's the most pressing need, is to get somebody trained to do this. And of course, you have to have additional people trained to handle the job on weekends and holidays when that person is off. So that's the most, basically the most pressing thing. Implementation, we've already talked to the different JPs, and they know that they're gonna have additional responsibilities as far as reporting. But at this point, what we're looking to the Commissioner's Court for is funding for a position to get somebody to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and, Albert, do you have Albert has put together some numbers as far as the personnel that might be required.
And this would just be.
Well, go ahead. You go ahead and do that.
Okay. Can I approach?
Sure. Yes, sir.
No, just one.
I was gonna.
Yeah, give it to them. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Judge. Basically, I put this pretrial bond program estimated operational cost. This is the ideal operational program. Of course, I have staff under the CSCD. The state limits the amount of work that they can do that's outside of probation work. This is a whole new program. So what I would like to do is try to incorporate some of my officers to assist in this process, but there's only a certain percentage of work that they can actually do. So with that being said, we would need to hire additional staff to make sure this program operates the way it's intended to. We'll need a pretrial bond officer to go every morning to the jail, get the information from the sheriff department, and prepare this assessment report and provide it to the magistrate, so the magistrates can come in and do their magistration. We're also going to need clerical staff so that when the information gets back to the office, it's inputted. There's reports that are going to be required by the county to submit to the Office of Court Administration that's going to be forwarded to the governor's office. So with that being said, we need some hardware as well, some laptops to take down to the jail, do the work that needs to get done.
There'll be a reporting period, Michael, every 30 days to the Office of Court Administration, right? That's how they do it?
No, daily, they're gonna, as soon as the judge magistrates, there's a form that they will fill out, and that's gonna be uploaded daily.
Daily.
And then from that form, OCA, Office of Court Administration, will generate the reports on a monthly basis.
Okay,
Yeah.
and make that available to the governor and to each.
It's gonna be
Each
actually
magistrate-
available on the website. There's a provision in there about being available to certain officers, but it's also gonna be on the website.
Right.
And the only thing that the district clerk and the county clerk would have to add to that would be the failure to appear, the people that don't show up to court after they've bonded out. Because they want to keep track of that number too. If we magistrate 10 people, 8 of them show up for court and 2 don't, they need to input that too, because if those 2 get arrested again, that's gonna pop up on their PSR.
Right.
That one of the factors to consider in setting bond is, does this person show up for court?
Right.
When they're told to, and
History and
yeah, and if they don't, then the judge on any subsequent offense would be advised of that, so they can know,
right.
this is a person that doesn't, in the past, has not shown up for court.
Right. Gotcha.
And there's other requirements, we have to notify whether these individuals have picked up subsequent offenses after being released on bail, whether they appeared to court, whether they FTA'd. So there's different reports that are going to have to be published.
There's
So,
also-
go ahead.
There's also a new provision that if we have a defendant that's arrested for a felony here, and on his PSR, it pops up that he or she is currently out on bond for a felony from, let's say,
Some other-
Hidalgo County.
Right.
There's the clerk here would have to notify Hidalgo County, hey, this person picked up another felony.
Right.
To let them know, because that's what happened in Freestone.
There's no
Yeah, they didn't know about the,
assault on a public servant.
right, that he was out for.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
vice versa. If they pick up somebody who's out on a felony bond out of our county,
Our county, they'll
they will
notify.
notify us. We'll route that to CSCD. If that person is on pretrial bond and it's determined that whatever they did in that other county was a violation of their conditions, which most likely it would be, because condition number 1 is commit no offense.
Right.
Then they could file a motion to revoke their bond in this county.
That county.
Mr. Guerra, didn't we have that something similar, almost like that happen here? Somebody was arrested for murder and then later on they were released, and then after a couple of weeks, he was arrested for drugs. And they were questioning why he was
I
released.
don't remember the specific case, but
Yeah. And now he's back in jail, but it's a lot of questions were asked why the guy was released.
this software should catch all that.
Yeah.
And
So there's a lot on the magistrate themselves. They won't, in order for them to magistrate.
well, the other option, if we don't hire this person, is to teach each individual magistrate's office how to run the software, which is gonna be more difficult than just running it through the probation department. In other
Right.
words, each clerk, and the problem with that is, you may not have the same consistency when you have different magistrates coming in on different days, and their clerks may not be as familiar with the system than if you have the same person going every day.
Right. And if that person for whatever reason fails to appear or show up or anything, the magistrate, they still proceed with the magistration without that information, if say the system, are there any other obligations on the magistrate's part, like when they're filling out that form? And
Once they submit that, in some cases, they will be placed on pretrial bond conditions.
Yeah.
If they violate the pretrial bond conditions, then, yeah, the magistrate would be asked to be involved again to make a determination whether to revoke or not. Now, once a person is indicted in a felony case, or that we file a formal complaint and information and a misdemeanor, then the magistrate's job is done, because at that point, it becomes the case of either Judge Terrell or Judge Garcia in the county court at law. And so any violations at that point would go before those particular judges. But pre-indictment or pre-formal filing of a misdemeanor, you go back to the magistrate that set bond to begin with.
So when does this take place?
April 1st.
April 1st?
That is what it says in the law. Judge Terrell and Judge Garcia went to the seminar last week, and it sounds like they are already starting to prep us for the possibility that the state may not meet the target.
So we would have to budget for
8 months?
8 months.
Michael, and this doesn't include the cost of the software, right?
Software is free. The state's gonna provide that.
Okay.
The hardware is not.
But
So
for
we
8
need
months,
the-
it won't be 144, it'd be probably less.
Well, this is an
It is
estimate.
based on 8 months?
No, I think this is an annual list.
The annual estimate.
Okay.
So the startup will be less.
Okay.
But one thing that we do have to consider, there is a target date of April 1st. That means that, put, advertising for personnel, interviewing, and there's a training that's required as well that has to take place.
So we'll probably be back first meeting of next month, because if they do get the software ready by April 1st, he's gonna have to hire somebody and get them trained within 30 days.
Yeah, we're just a month away, actually.
Yeah.
well, it's kind of, and we have to really look at it, since the state is imposing this on us and not funding the cost, we need to look at this carefully and
Because is it something that maybe a jailer could learn and we would give them stipends? Because,
They could. but we would need
somebody
the
that's
sheriff.
already getting benefits, that we could give them a stipend and save that,
Well,
or
you
sheriff.
want-
We're gonna
You
have
always need to train more than one because of
Right.
weekends and holidays, vacation, etc. The sheriff would have to agree to that,
Yes.
because there is a specific provision in there that jail personnel may assist, but they cannot be obligated to assist by the county.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's governor's office needs to fund some of this stuff.
and one of the,
Online.
and frankly,
So
one of the
this-
problems with that is there's a lot of turnover at
So
the,
this would fall under your
especially on the
office,
jail
Albert?
side.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it'll be a separate unit from my office. And
Does
like
that
I said,
necessarily have to be out of your office? No, not necessarily.
not
right?
necessarily, no.
Okay, because we have to look at this carefully, because this cost is something that came upon us,
It could be out of my office, it could be out of Carlos's office.
some office designated.
Open to any court personnel, but since they're the ones that are gonna be in the cases where people are put on pretrial bond supervision, they're the ones that are gonna be supervising them.
Right.
And we just thought for efficiency's sake, it
Sure.
would be good for them to be in on it from the get-go.
There's a lot of players involved, and the communication has to be there. And if you kind of centralize everything, then it's gonna be more efficient. Of course, it's a lot more work, but I'm willing to assist the county and
Well, that's
everything
why I'm
that I
saying it's a
can.
lot more work on someone or on some.
Yeah.
And do you really
department.
think that you need 2 clerical? Like an officer and 1 clerical? You
Well,
need to have
because basically what's gonna happen too is if these guys get placed on bond conditions, and somebody's gonna have to monitor them, reporting and those kind of things, while so I'm gonna have 1 officer at the jail doing, the actual interviews and the assessments. So what about the day before, when they're reporting and they got released and the individual reporting, they need to report to someone
Another
there.
thing that may come up that soon is these pretrial condition violations. Those numbers right there are pretty, how are we addressing those pretrial condition violations? I mean, the actual, the consequences and stuff, because we got a list of people that, it's just never ending. And some of these people are already on that, eligible for those violations of assault and repeated offenses, and so it's gonna be quite a bit of chasing these people down, because we have quite a few people out there. That's gonna be the key after we're spending all that money and putting up all this investment. How are we gonna track these individuals, and how are we gonna handle these persons when they violate those, that's gonna be another thing, right? You know, our jail capacity, right?
We're anticipating a significant change.
I've seen it, I already know without us going in
To
through
our
this.
office, to the DA's office, to the sheriff's office, and to the probation office.
So
And
there's,
the clerks. and
there's
the
gonna be
county
enough
administrator.
work for three individuals, right?
That, that's what Albert's asking for,
And that's just to start up, Commissioner. I mean, once it gets kicked off, we don't know what kind of volume we're gonna see. But from right now, that's what I see. We try, and there's a catch-22. And it's like, Michael said, it's from one spectrum to the other. Like the ones that should be eligible to get released, those guys should get released right away, so that it's not costing the county money to house them. But the ones that are the violent offenders, those are the ones that we need to pay attention to and target those and make sure that we make appropriate recommendations for the magistrate, so that they don't go and reoffend. Yeah, because we're talking about liability.
there is a provision for fees, if you're on pretrial, for them to pay fees.
Right.
But-
That'll help.
But that,
with the cost.
it would help to offset, but
So,
I
not
don't
enough.
anticipate that, a lot of them you can't collect from.
Right.
And,
A lot of folks are indigent, are not
that are
qualified.
indigent, right.
Okay, well, we got this discussion going, and we got something to look at and base it on. I guess we can discuss a little bit more about what particulars we
This
can.
was just to introduce you all to the idea.
I feel we need to do something, Judge. They have a 1 month,
Window, yeah.
window. I think we should, amend our budget to reflect 8 months of, operation, which would be probably 100,000 instead of 144. I think, and then during budget hearings, that'll be 5 months away, we'll know more about it and we can adjust accordingly.
That's what we discussed, is that this 5-month window between now and
Yeah,
budget
right,
time.
and, I think we need
We'll have a better
to
idea.
amend our budget to reflect, 5 months of operation,
Mhm.
or 8 months of operation, I'm sorry.
Well, we'll be back next month with that, because this is just a discussion today.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation, guys.
You guys.
Thank you.
Oh, this is a presentation,
Yeah, this was just the presentation. Discussion.
regarding, okay,
Next month's
I
meeting.
thought you all needed that. Okay, good.
Thank you, guys. Okay, discuss, consider. Agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and take action to approve a revised budget for Jim Wells County application to the Economic Development Administration under the American Rescue Act of 2021.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. How are y'all doing today in this cold morning? So today we come before you to discuss the agenda item that you have, and giving you a little history of where we're at and how this started. Back probably about a year and a half ago, we looked at applying for an EDA grant of $5 million. And those $5 million, we submitted a budget that included some water and sewer line extension to the facility that's out at the Invico plant or with the Primate Center. Since all this has taken place, and this has been going on for almost a year and a half, 2 years, the EDA tentatively given us $1.5 million on their contract or on their grant. In that grant, of course, we substantially had to reduce that because of from 5 million to 1.5 is a different thing. So in that was a submission of monies that were allowed under the 20% match. The 20% match at that time was a little over $930,000, and the county was acting as a pass-through in order to accommodate that grant. Being that the grant was knocked down from 5 million to 1.5, the numbers changed and the budget changed. With us today is George Lassiter for Lassiter Fulcrum Engineering out of Harlingen, I'm sorry, that's been doing the assessments and doing all the data that goes along with the actual grant. So at this time, what has changed though is that, of course, in that time when we applied for the monies of the $5 million, the Indigo company was going to assess or be responsible for the 20% match. The county will be out no money whatsoever, and included that was a consultant fee as well. So the county is acting only as a pass-through and will be not required to do that. So what we're asking for you today is that basically in the same terms, but we've reduced the budget to 1.5, and the allotment that is going to be needed is $375,000. The 375 will be paid by the Indigo Group in order to accommodate their budget and the budget that's needed for the infrastructure work that we're going to need for that. Since all this has transpired, Indigo, which has now changed its names under a new leadership called NOTIV, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but NOTIV or NOTIV, they've purchased the Orient, it's called the Orient Biosource Research Center that's on 625. We're very pleased to announce that they are staying in Jim Wells County and they're going to expand their facilities. Thank you to the work for the judges and the city council and the commissioners court for them staying here in town. So by doing that, and there will be a press release probably the near next week or two, by doing that, that tells us that they are staying in Jim Wells County. They're providing us with additional jobs that they have at the Orient Search facility and looking at expanding it between 150 to 300 jobs in the next 2 or 3 years. So congratulations to everybody for keeping them here and for getting ready to expand that, to continue to have jobs economically in Jim Wells and South Texas. They'll be one of the largest employers here in Jim Wells County when we get done with this facility. So I'm real pleased to announce that through a lot of work and negotiating, we're able to do that. So
To add, to thank Larry for the hard, work and the commitment and the patience. We've been working on this for a couple of years, but it's well worth the investment and the
yeah, it's
expansion of these facilities.
It's been a lot of work back and forth and negotiating. We've been very fortunate to have had some really good leadership and sit down and talk about how we do these projects and working together to come up with a solution. When we talk about diversifying our economy in Jim Wells County, this is diversifying our economy.
Definitely.
This is doing something that's different and it's creating jobs that are at a different pay scale than what we're normally accustomed. So I think it's a real positive thing. And we've also been working with some of the local colleges to initiate or to help out through an internship and their college graduation courses for them to work with them. So, we're looking at shifting what we do from a educational standpoint, marrying with them as well, and providing that resource through an internship or through any way that we can accommodate them. So we see the future as a positive thing, so that we can have a different type of employment in town, per se. I know Alice has always been known as the hub city and also as the key to the oil industry, but here we're taking a different perspective, and I think it's worked out really well. George, you want to talk a little bit about the budget as far as how we got to those numbers?
Good morning. For the record, I'm George Lázaro. I'm an engineer with Fulcrum Consulting Services, and we've been on board assisting in preparing this application with the Petra Network for the last 18 months. And like Larry indicated, this project application, it was around $5.5 million, and it was competing for EDA monies, not only in our region, but across the United States. And EDA received a substantial amount of applications. And in order to make sure that that all of these projects move forward, they brought down the cap at $1.5 million. And of course, you all, having submitted all the paperwork, qualified for that amount. And at this time, what they're asking us is to revise that budget to reflect the monies that have become available. And the way it works is that EDA puts up the 1.5, and of course the applicant or community puts up 20%. In this case, the total project is actually $1,875,000. 80% of that is the 1.5 million. 375 would be the one that would come from Envico. But I want to congratulate you because it took a lot of hard work and effort to get to the point that we are now. Boy, we were all wishing that we could have secured the 5.5, but as of this morning, EDA is saying that they have run out of money, but it looks like they're going to get another allocation, which means that there could be a phase 2 to this application here in the very near future. And we look forward to assisting you all. Should we be given the opportunity?
Lázaro, thank you.
What's the reason for going under the American Rescue Act?
through the stimulus money that was put out, EDA actually received in excess of $200 billion. And that's where the program fell under, and it was something that was offered across the United States. And of course, the driving force between that is economic development and job creation. They didn't anticipate that these monies were going to go out as fast as they did. But once the notification of funds was made available, they received an excessive amount of applications.
So this is not our monies from the.
Oh, no. This is a separate
Okay.
allotment
Got a
of
little
monies.
bit more than we did. 200 billion.
Yeah.
Hey, they're playing, you know how they.
But in the future, since we are the applicant, we will be seeing the budgets, the engineering budgets and all of that will be coming to us too, right? Okay.
Exactly.
That is correct.
And every number that's there is laid out in accordance to what EDA will pay. They will not, they have a schedule you have to follow saying, Mr. Attorney, you have to do it for this, Mr. Engineer, you have to do it for this, Mr. Administrator, you have to do it for this. They actually set the amounts depending on the size of the
The
program.
reason I ask these questions, because for the record, a lot of these people that are viewing us might not know, they might think it's part of the 8 million. So for the record, it's not.
Oh, no, this is a complete, this
Okay,
comes,
That's what I want to clarify for the audience.
yes.
And the county, even though we're committing to the match, that's supposed to be reimbursed to us?
Yes,
So we're not, we're out $0.
right, that's
We're
correct.
not-
And they
The county's
understand
not
that.
committed to any,
And we do have a contract, right, to specify that?
No, last time we put it on the record here, and so that's why I'm asking that question. Also, Mr. Lázaro, the scope of work has changed. Can you tell us what is still going forward, what you're still going forward with, and what got cut out?
Initially, this project consisted of two major components. It was bringing a source of water to the facility and wastewater facility, which the facility itself is having a hard time meeting the requirements as set forth by TCEQ. With a $1.5 million allotment, what that did is that was just enough money to address the sewer needs. There was not enough money to address the water needs at this time. So based on that and knowing that understanding, the regional office at the EDA level requested that we revise the budget only for wastewater needs of that facility. And what it's going to entail is that right now the facility has their own small wastewater treatment plant on site that is not meeting the regulations, but as part of the funding that's being made available by this EDA fund, what'll happen is that there'll be a lift station that's going to be planned for construction at the site with a force main that's going to come back along the county road, and final treatment will be at the city of Alice's wastewater treatment facilities.
Who's gonna install that main?
It's part of the program, and what'll happen is when the funds officially become available, then we will work with the court to be able to go out for bids, and we will have to solicit bids in accordance to the federal guidelines and award that contract
To be paid?
by the grant, right?
The next question, has the city already approved you tying into their system?
Preliminarily, yes, they have.
Because we don't have a wastewater plant.
No. Larry, I think you've
We've
been,
had negotiations with Michael and his staff.
The city has worked closely and.
yeah,
But the
Because
city is
we're part
not
of
gonna
this.
do the work.
I'm sorry?
The city is not going to do the work.
no, it's going to be strictly through the county.
Right.
And I might add also, by doing that, that might stimulate some growth toward that 665 corridor. You know, for any business on growth, you want to see if you got a water or sewer, or especially a sewer line, that you'll be able to attract new companies into. So we're pretty excited about there being an additional infrastructure set up, so that way, in the event that we want some type of new company located there, that's possible as well. So it kind of serves two purposes as well.
Those utilities may be available and
Yeah.
Mhm.
an additional positive there to
That'd be
the
your
area.
district, am I correct, Chapa? There you go, very good.
And it's our hopes that if the additional funding opportunity comes up, maybe the water portion can become a reality. And then that puts an artery all the way out there along that county road that anybody that wants to locate now has water and sewer along that route.
Okay.
And just for your information, on the new site that was acquired, I know that there's some water that's run to Bembo with the contract with the city. There is some talk about that, but there also some talk about improving their electrical grid or the electrical service because of the facilities out there. That parcel's got over 500 acres. The last time we had talked, we're looking at doing a land acquisition of the old site. That no longer is gonna be needed because the new site has an additional acres to go ahead and do that. So there'll be growth in both of those
And
facilities.
it's on
That's the that's the 625.
That's the other,
That's correct.
that's the other facility.
625. It's on 625?
Yes.
It might be in yours or Weecho.
It's in Weecho, but I thought it was in like 440 or
Oh,
something.
yeah, that's the one, that's the original one, but they just bought the other one. We had two
acquired
primate facilities.
They acquired both of
One,
them.
one on the,
It's in
off of
Margie's.
665, and then there's one over.
Margie's.
Oh, it's in Margie's site?
It splits, 625, it's on the north side.
Either way, they're pretty pleased with what we've made available, what we guaranteeing what we're doing, that facility, for them to invest the amount of money they're gonna invest and expand
It
and,
was a $51 million
yeah,
acquisition.
to make those choices right now, it's a good thing it's a good thing. Larry, again, good job of,
It took everybody to do it. It's not just me.
right.
Team.
Well, mostly
Effort.
for the last 2 years, it's been you.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact because, so
I wake up in the middle of the night, my wife's, what are you thinking about?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about primates.
just keep it going, Mrs. Moran, would you like to say,
I
you had a
just wanted
comment?
to ask George, just because I don't have a copy of the scope of work that's changed. And I know that some of the services that are on there, is the lift station part
The
of
lift-
the EDA grant?
yes, it is.
That's included in there, just
Yes, it
wanted to
is.
draw that attention to the Commissioners Court. Because there was talk about possibly going out for a different grant, which then wouldn't guarantee that we would receive that. So I just wanted to make sure that
it's
it
gonna-
has now become part of.
It's a complete sewer system improvement project to be able to bring that wastewater back.
Okay.
100% complete turnaround, yeah. No, thank you, Ms. Moran. Yeah, and like I said, this outfit, this firm is willing and already committed quite a bit of financial. So the difference there, and like we mentioned earlier, that we're just a pass-through agency or organization, and so we're gonna support that all the way through, and I don't see any downside to this at all whatsoever. It's all upside, so it's been a good project all around, and just glad that it's coming to fruition. Mr. Lázaro, anything else that you?
That's all I have, unless y'all
Thank
have
you.
any questions for me.
Anybody else, commissioners? Any questions?
I have no questions.
Larry?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir,
Appreciate
very
you.
much for your
Thank you.
presentation, yes. Larry, thank you. You're done? You're
Thank you,
good?
everybody. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
So it's just the motion, it's a question for action, it's an action item.
Yes, sir. I move that this item,
No, this is an action item.
it is an action item.
Yeah, it is an action item.
Yeah, right,
because
To
we have
approve a revised budget.
right.
You have a revised budget.
There's two back to
Two
back.
items.
8 and 9.
He's working together.
So we got,
Action. to
so we're gonna
approve a revised
move on the revised budget with the application of the Economic Development Council under the American Rescue Act. So I move that we pass this motion.
Second.
And the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 9, discussion and action to provide the required 20% of the total project cost as a match for non-federal sources and sign the EDA commitment letter.
So I make a motion that we approve this, that the 20% is coming from Envigo, and that is the match for this $1.5 million.
Michael, and I have a motion on the floor.
And we have to sign a commitment letter.
We are, but with the understanding that.
That 20% is paid by.
Paid by Invigo. That's why, before we sign, that has to be, that,
If they come back and
Language.
ask us for money, then we can just send the grant
right, so
back.
that language has to be in there, that 20%, in that agreement.
Right.
County South, no
Yes,
monies.
no, we won't be, that's what the agreement was, so we have to have that letter drawn up so we can do that for sure.
And that's in the process. as
Right,
well.
okay, that's what I'm saying, we'll have that letter, so we have a motion on the floor and a second.
Second
All those in
discussion,
favor?
Larry, I also want to thank you. You know, it's been a long process through the through the different, processes that you've gone through and
Hurdles that
and
you've
at the
had
end
to
of the
jump.
day, the county's not out any monies. So I thank you for that.
I'd like to say one other thing, even if we were, I know we hardly, we avoid having to invest any dollars or anything in any of this type
Would
of,
be a good investment.
but, you know, we hardly have to do that, and we have these programs, and you work hard to make those funds available to assist especially our rural, smaller counties, because we don't have those revenues and resources, so that's a good program.
Whenever we, mix public and private funds, Judge.
Yes.
We need to take a real good, close, look at it.
Yes.
So, it's, public's one thing, private's another, so we need to be careful when we talk about, the private sector.
Yeah. Another thing also, like I said, we made these comments, and this is a great project. We hardly dive into risky business that goes on with organizations and counties. I mean, you see entities all over the place every day, unwisely spending and investing, and that goes up in air. But this was very thought out and very, very carefully with everybody involved, you and Mr. Guerra, the county attorney, because everything has been looked at very carefully and very,
The best
Pretty sure
thing,
that we've worked through the governor's office and looking for additional monies and been exhausted.
no, that
A
definitely,
lot of- I know, Judge, you and I have been in conversations with the reps from the governor's office and then also working with Senator Hinojosa that's been very helpful with us.
Yeah.
So we've been able to collaborate with not only our local officials, but our state officials, and knowing that we are trying to do other projects other than this. So we want to be recognized as economic development, but understand that the county is ready to do work in the fashion that we did with this project here. So I think it's a real positive for Jim Wells County.
and it's the beginning of diversifying our economy, which
And-
is very, very
Yeah,
much
and the
needed.
surrounding areas, we talk about Orange Grove, we talk about Fremont, and everybody in conjunction with, it's a win-win for a lot of people.
yeah, okay.
Well, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 10, executive session, discuss settlement offers.
Y'all didn't vote on that one.
We didn't vote on the agenda item number 9?
We made the motions. all
Okay, I
in
have a
favor.
motion and a second on the floor. Do we have a second?
Yes, we.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, guys, again. Agenda item number 10, executive session, discuss settlement offers in the matter of Texas opiate multi-district litigation for the county in the matter of County of Jim Wells versus Purdue Pharma Incorporated, MDL pretrial cause number 2/11865 in the 152nd District Court of Harris County, Texas.
And this should take probably 5 minutes or less, but
Okay.
it has to, they've asked us to do this in executive.
It is 10:41.
Go ahead and pull it up.
10:41 a.m. and we're gonna be going into executive session.
Michael.
access to, back into
I don't
the,
know if it goes to general fund or to indigent health.
it went into the general fund.
Go to precinct 2 if you want.
Okay, are we back on, Robert?
Yeah, sure, you're back on, sir.
All right. So we're back to regular session. And that was agenda item number 10. Just filling this out. Yeah, I know, I'm just looking for something else right now. Yeah. Okay, any commissioners, y'all want to make a motion on this
Well, call the.
agenda item number 10?
11.
Open. back up
11,
the
so
session.
the agenda item number 10, we already went through that or what?
Number
Do we have to
11.
announce we're back in open session?
Did we
Yeah,
open
and
up?
back in open session.
Right, we're back in open session, but did we go over agenda item number 10? We entered into executive session, so all that's done. Do we need to pass that or just a discussion?
Now we're on 11. Back in
Number
open
11,
session, we're on 11.
discuss, consider, and take action to authorize a county judge, Juan Rodriguez Jr. to execute an offer or an order regarding settlement offers in the matter of County of Jim Mills County versus Purdue Farm Incorporated, MDL pretrial cause number 2018-63587 in the 152nd District Court of Harris County, Texas.
Judge, commissioners, based on the recommendation of our outside counsel, they're recommending that we approve this settlement with the amounts that were disclosed to you in executive session. And if it's approved by the judge of this court, then those numbers would become public record.
I make a motion to authorize the county judge to execute an order regarding
I'll
the
second.
settlement.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Guerra, for the layout,
Right.
sir. Agenda item number 12, discuss, consider, and take action on approving county treasurer's report and other monthly reports.
I'll make a motion to approve, Judge.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
And the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 13, discuss and consider, take action to approve county auditor's report.
Over, it's gonna be the Jim Wells County Sales Tax Report for January of 2022. Jim Wells County net payment current period, we received 256,622.06. At this time last year, we received 192,325.02. A difference in comparison from this month to last year's month of 64,297.04, a percentage change of 33.43%. So in comparison to last year, that's a very good. Very good. In comparison to all of the different commissioners court, the general fund received 205,297.63. And everybody received 9.77% of the percentage for the year up at this point. So like I say, it's a very good report on sales tax. The auditor's monthly report for the month ending January 2022. Revenue, general fund, through January, we received 36% of the 17,587,212 that was budgeted. RMBs total, they received 30% of the revenues that were budgeted. Overall, total revenues of the budget amount of 24,341,410, we received 34% at this point. On the expenditure reports and the expenditure amount, we should be at 8%. If anybody is above it, let's go ahead and go over it, see where the difference might be. A lot of times, January is a higher month for most people, and they do go over. Ultimately, they do get leveled off. Total general fund expenditures for January came in at 8%. The road and bridge were at 6%. Overall, total expenditures that are 26,344,241.68. We spent 8%, and we're supposed to be at 8%, so we're right on target as to where we're supposed to be. Thank you all.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. I move that we adjourn this meeting. Do you have any questions?
On those bills, on those bills? Bills,
We have to approve the bills.
the back page,
I didn't see it. It was on the back.
the bills.
They hit it from here. Which one do we have? Discuss, consider, take action, payroll and bills submitted by county auditor with the exemption of Fund 52, 53, and 54.
I make a motion to approve. We get them prior.
Yes.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes.
Now you can make it.
Yes, now I move that we adjourn this meeting. Unless there's any
second.
questions. In a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.